You can't sleep, your heart races, and you feel on edge. And you're starting to wonder, is it perimenopause or is it anxiety? And the truth is, the answer might be both, and understanding that overlap can make a big difference in how you care for yourself. Hello and welcome. I'm Carol Covelli. I'm a licensed therapist supporting the emotional health and wellness of women in midlife. And today we're going to look at the overlap between perimenopause and anxiety and why support for both really matters. What happens in perimenopause? A lot of people believe it's the declining of estrogen and progesterone. And it is, but it's the declining of all the hormones that are involved with your reproductive system. I would love to have a doctor come on here to explain all the nuances during perimenopause when it comes to hormones and how hormones behave and how they decline. I am not a doctor. I am speaking generally. I'm providing some general information. It's the emotional health and wellness that is my jam. So, but people do believe that estrogen and progesterone decline, and they do, but not in a way that you may think, not in a way where it's a steady decline. And like I said, it isn't just estrogen and progesterone, it's all the hormones involved in your reproductive system. And the hormones will decline, but as they're declining, they're not declining in a smooth way. They will spike, they will dip, they'll go up, they'll go down. It's very much like a roller coaster, and this is happening with each individual hormone because each hormone is trying to keep the system that has been going through your life since you started menstruating, and it's trying to keep that system going, but it's not working as well. It's almost like if you're driving down a smooth paved road, right? That's your reproductive years. Your smooth paved road, let's say in terms of hormones. I know not everybody has a smooth paved road during their reproductive years, but just for the sake of an example, your hormones generally do function in a way that it's a system. It knows, one sparks another and sparks another and sparks another, and it knows what it needs to do each month, each 28 days, give or take. So you're driving down this road, but then the road becomes full of bumps and potholes. And as that road becomes bumpy and you have these potholes and these bumps and all this debris in the road that you have to drive over, it's jostling you around as you're driving. That's similar to what happens with the hormones. The hormones jostle you around, jostle you around physiologically as it's declining. So it's not necessarily a steady decline. So how does that affect anxiety? Well, as your system is trying to fight to keep the system going the way it's used to going, through this jostling going down the road, it creates these symptoms that we know in perimenopause: the hot flashes, night sweats, not being able to sleep, irritability, feeling teary at times, feeling angry at other times, and of course, anxiety. Where does perimenopause and anxiety overlap? First, they share a lot of the same symptoms: a racing heart, feeling sweaty, feeling shaky, feeling on edge, having brain fog, not being able to think clearly, not being able to sleep well, which exacerbates anxiety, not being able to sleep well. So there's a lot of overlap in the symptoms. When I mentioned before that your hormones are bumpy or the road is bumpy, creating erratic behavior with your hormones, what happens is within your system that can can tap into your fight, flight, freeze, fawn response and can create anxiety to ready yourself in that way. So it's tapping into that response, and the anxiety is your alert. So it's putting you on alert because there's something different going on. There's something happening that doesn't feel safe. It's like a smoke detector that goes off when you've made toast or burnt a piece of toast, right? There isn't a fire, but the smoke detector is detecting that something is wrong. So it's going off because it doesn't know that it's just toast. It knows that it's detecting smoke, and it's the same thing with your system. Your system isn't knowing that, okay, this is what happens. This is perimenopause. We should not get all disrupted about this. It doesn't know that. So it goes on alert. It sets off your body's internal alarm system in response to the changes that are happening physiologically. And then what happens is that it can become a loop. You have a loop of perimenopause symptoms and anxiety, and then one is feeding the other and feeding the other and feeding the other. And this is where a lot of people get stuck and think either this is how it's supposed to be. I'm supposed to be feeling horrible and anxious, and oh, now I'm feeling night sweats and hot flashes and irritability. Oh no, now I'm feeling anxious. And this is the way it's supposed to be. So it is really important to understand it doesn't have to be this way. There are options for support, and that's what we're going to talk about now. Why support matters? It matters because you deserve it. And a lot of women have a lot of difficulty truly believing that they deserve a level of support through this. Yes, perimenopause is a physical issue, right? What's happening to you is physiological, right? Your hormones are adjusting and changing and disrupted. But there is also an emotional piece to it, and part of it is the emotions that you are feeling in response to those physiological changes, and some of it is the emotions such as anxiety have already existed before perimenopause started. You could be experiencing anxiety as a side effect of perimenopause, or you have already had anxiety and it's becoming more intense, it's worsening because of perimenopause. But being able to have both types of support can be extremely helpful. For some people, they may have the physical support and they may find their anxiety goes away, their anxiety dissipates, and they don't feel as disrupted emotionally, which is great. But there are some people who go through perimenopause, and even though they still receive help or treatment for the physical symptoms, they still struggle emotionally. So it's important to look at both pieces of this experience as valid and worthy of care. If you've ever asked yourself, is this anxiety or is this perimenopause? Often it's both. And it doesn't make you weak. Your body and mind are responding to real changes that are happening in your body. Knowing this overlap, I hope, can help you to stop blaming yourself and stop judging yourself and stop pushing yourself when what you really need to do is to show yourself some compassion for what you're experiencing. And that happens when you reach out and find the kind of support that really helps. If today's video has resonated for you, I have linked in the description box my menopause checklist. And it is a checklist of physical symptoms, emotional symptoms, relational symptoms that you can check off to track your symptoms or to bring to your doctor if sometimes you forget, or you have a doctor's appointment and you leave and you're like, oh, I should have said this, I should have said this. So you have a list of symptoms that you can check off. The checklist also has questions you can ask your doctor. Again, so you feel prepared and don't have to worry about remembering everything you want to say. And if anxiety is an issue for you, I have also attached my A to Z anxiety guide for women in midlife. It's filled with practical tools and skills and ways to help you manage your anxiety. You can grab one or both, whichever feels most helpful. If you found value in this video, please like, subscribe, and share. And please comment if there is anything that you would like me to speak on specifically. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.